Good afternoon, everybody. It looks like I'm live. Yes, I am sick again. I am feeling somewhat better. Better being a very relative term because I'm still pretty sick. Um, but so warning, there will be coughing during this particular episode. And even though I should probably be drinking hot tea, I'm actually drinking coffee because I need to stay awake until, you know, until I'm ready to go to bed. I need to stay awake. So anyway, I have some water here, a cough drop in case I need it. So it's been 2 weeks. So let's set the Wayback Machine. These patterns here that I worked on in the last 2 weeks, and I didn't do a lot, honestly, because I spent a lot of time in bed, are a mix of the patterns that I bought off Etsy, which we already saw. And when I started to do them, I couldn't remember which were which. So I apologize. You're going to see some patterns over again. And then the rest of them are vintage patterns from Mrs. Landis. And then there's a very small batch that is from the Friday Goodwill haul that I did. There really haven't been patterns at Goodwill for a while. I got some other stuff, which you saw in the video. I got zippers because, I was just thinking I don't have any zippers. And yeah, I'm making a joke. For those of you that are new, I probably have like 500 zippers. Like every time I buy anything, I end up with zippers. I've even found zippers shoved into a pattern. So on that note, let's talk about stuff I found in a pattern this past couple of weeks. Except for this one thing. This didn't make it to the video. This was in with the zippers. It's embroidery thread, but it's like super cool, like metallic. I hope you guys can really see it. It's coming up darker than I think it actually is, but it's so cool, right? And this was in with the zippers. And I realized when I watched the video back, I don't know where this was, but it wasn't on camera. So that was in with the zippers. All right, so things that I found in patterns. I found this lovely cotton. It's like a cotton duck type material. It's a little bit lighter than duck. So it was in a pattern that I had for, it might actually still be in here. We might look at it again. It was in with a pattern that was for like a rain jacket. So it was pretty cool. It seemed like it would be something really cool to make a rain jacket out of. There was, of course, a receipt from Sofro Fabrics. I remember this name, but I can't remember if it was a national brand. Let's see what we got here. We have 2 yards of fabric and PA tax came to $12.87. Do we have a date? No. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. 11/12/71. That must have been some expensive fabric back in 1971. Let's see the date up there. I guess it was $5.98 for a yard. That's kind of expensive for fabric way back when. And shoved in one of the patterns, I found this. It's just one little tiny button, but look how cute it is. Can you see? It's just like it's just like a shank style button. And it literally looks like, I don't know, like a small kidney bean. I was thinking it looked like the Japanese beans, the adzuki beans. I thought it looked like one of those. So I don't know what I'm going to do with one single button on a card, but it is a very cute little button. It's hard to see, but it's like a very nice, sorry, I'm always doing that backwards. It's like a very nice, like a maroon, orangey kind of, color. Yeah, Olivia, my Goodwill. Oh, really? A whole year? You're wow, that's interesting. Because if you go on the Goodwill website and you want to purchase a blue box, they very often have sets of patterns. So maybe they've decided to do the patterns through the blue boxes. I don't know, because we still get them at mine. I got 11 patterns Friday. I'm going to end up showing you 10 because one of them was actually, there was a dupe. There were 2 of this one pattern, both uncut. So that worked out well. What else have I been doing? I decided to do some sewing. I started working on this apron from my vintage apron collection. And the fabric is, this fabric is the side areas, and this red is the majority of the apron. And then I might put some piping in. I don't know if you guys can see this. It looks very blue on camera. It's actually like a really nice royal, like what they call cardinal purple. And then just like, this is just some seam binding. And interestingly, I had to make copies of the instructions because the instructions are so falling apart that I can't fold and unfold them. I'll lose them. So yeah, if you're gonna, you know what, maybe that's what it is, Olivia. Like she's saying, if you're not reading this, that she's going to go to Iowa City, which is a much bigger city in Iowa, and it's possible those Goodwills have the patterns, or maybe they weren't selling in the small Goodwills, so they were sending them to the big Goodwills. Who knows? All right, so without further ado, I'm probably going to go through these pretty quick because I've noticed when I talk a lot, I start to cough. So, and I can't remember every detail of these. I do remember this one. These are, sorry, wrong hand. These lovely bell bottoms. These over, oh, see, I keep doing that. These over here, these lovely bell bottoms were uncut and still factory folded. So someone will be enjoying that. And this, one of the views was uncut, but I can't remember which one. So also, this one I also remember. The ones that I did a couple days ago, I can remember. This one was, it was all cut, but in really great shape. This one, interestingly enough, this one, it was all cut, but it would almost look like it was a pre-cut pattern and that they had just traced it because it was so, it's in such good shape. It almost looks like they just cut it out, but never actually used it. And it's just the camisole and the little over, I guess you would call that a shrug, maybe. I don't know. Not really. I thought a shrug has to wrap, so maybe not. Already have this pattern, so just got another one of these. So that's cool. This is a different size. I have the small one. This is a large, so that's good because I've sold that pattern. Oh, speaking of, I believe it was last week, Miranda from Miranda Makes made one of the patterns that she bought with me. In fact, when I get done this, I will go and put a link for, I don't know why I'm lopsided today. It may be that my head's still congested, but so it's really cute butterick. This is a girl's pattern, but if you're petite, you could totally make these separates. And it was nice. It was a lot of separates. It's like everything on the cover. So I included it. Got this. I did have to remove several patterns because they were wounded birds. Several of the patterns I got from, sorry about that. This one does not have line drawings on the back. It has them on the front. Several of the patterns I got from that Etsy shop did not have any instructions, which it's fine. I'm not complaining because they did say it was they were unchecked patterns. So I was taking my chances in getting them in general, but it's kind of fun to take a risk like that once in a while. When I originally put online that I might have a surprise for you guys, that surprise was I was talking to a woman who lives out in Media, PA, which is not that close. I mean, it's in Pennsylvania. It's not horribly far, but it's also not close. She had a bunch of patterns, and I was talking to her about mailing them to, having her mail them to me. But she's got littles, she's got kids, and she said she's just having a hard time getting to the post office and figure out how much it's going to cost for her to mail these. And she had originally intended, because this was through Facebook Marketplace, she had originally intended to just do them as a pickup. So, no foul, no harm. So that's what I thought my surprise was going to be, but didn't work out. So my surprise is that I'm coughing. That's my surprise. Oh, here's a surprise. I opened this up thinking it was cut, and it wasn't. It was factory folded. It was it's brand new. I mean, not brand new, obviously, because it's from the 80s, but yeah, never used. So I was pretty happy about that. Oh boy. I know. There's some very 70s stuff going on here. Mm. Yeah, that was pretty much my week, was just coughing. I uh I I actually worked for some unknown reason. I went into work on Monday. I went into work on Tuesday. I went into work on Wednesday. By Thursday, I had it. I needed to get some rest. I just couldn't do it. I ended up calling out Thursday, but went into work Friday. So yeah, I kind of hit the wall by Thursday. I hadn't any sleep. I, you know, I'm really having trouble sleeping because of the coughing, stuff like that. Oh, you watched that video, Maria? Or Marie, sorry. Um, okay. Maria bought a wounded bird for me and she drafted the pieces. Yeah, it's the reason I sell wounded birds. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that don't sell them. But like when I get a great pattern and it's still got some life in it and it's missing, the back facing piece, give me a break. The back facing piece may be just half the size of the front facing piece if it's a total piece, or it's just the reverse of the front, facing piece. Why does the whole pattern have to, end up in limbo? I'm just trying to figure out what to do. I have patterns that are really missing a lot, right? And and I also have just envelopes, no pattern in them. So I'm thinking of actually putting them together in packs for people that want to do junk journaling, who maybe are interested in sewing, something like that. Isn't this cute? I think this was part of the collection that I bought off Etsy. It seemed really familiar. When I was working on it, I was thinking how cute it is. Ah, yes, McCall's, the designer collection, but it doesn't tell you who the designer is. It just says it's a designer collection. So. That's the problem with me talking a lot, which is, obviously, if you know me, I'm coughing a lot because I like to talk a lot. Oh, that's interesting. You know what? I'm kind of doing that on my own. Um, because I buy from so many sources, I just kind of keep all the stray pieces I find aside because I know that I might be able to reunite them. Like I might get a stray piece from one pattern and then I can go back and find it in Mrs. Landis's pattern. This, by the way, was where this came from. So I think she made the jacket out of red and it would have been lovely, by the way. Yeah, it would have been really lovely. This is a really nice, heavy cotton duck, Yeah, if anybody watches Stephanie Canada, I loved her video with the fabrics this week where she some of those double knits, right? Double knit, the fabric that just didn't breathe. All right, this was definitely Mrs. Landis because I remember it. The original off leisure pattern. A little bit of Vogue. Some Jiffy. Gotta love some Jiffy. This is another one that's a girl's pattern, but it's a large enough size that if you were petite, it would definitely fit you. Yeah, and it's a tough call because sometimes, you get a pattern and you realize that it's not just that it's a piece or two, it's an entire thing. And I've had this happen where you go in and the skirt's uncut, the pants are uncut, the vest is uncut. and it was like a women's three-piece suit, but all of the jacket pieces are missing because someone made the jacket and didn't put the pieces back, right? So I sell it as a wounded bird because basically it's like a brand new pattern if you don't want to make the jacket, you know, and that actually happens a lot. Look at this, how swank, huh? I love that this pattern actually has a bag for your pajamas, which I'm not sure why. I guess if you were a businessman and you traveled or whatever, who knows? So now I'm going to show you guys the patterns that I got at Goodwill so you can get a better look at them. Like I said, there were 2 of these. It's just a really basic pattern. Whoop, there we go. Where am I? There we go. It was just a really basic, like kind of t-shirt dress pattern. Really cute. There were 2 of those. Oh, and there was this pattern. It's a shame. It's got a lot of rust on it. Oh, and it doesn't have any line drawings because it's McCall's, but really cute, right? And it's creative clothing, which I've had patterns from them before. And Women's Day. Is Women's Day magazine even around anymore? It's funny. There are 2 patterns in here from Women's Day. And I don't even know, are they still around? I mean, I remember when McCall's had their own magazine too. Remember McCall's magazine? Don't know if that's still around either. I don't read magazines anymore, but I guess I'm not the only one. They're all going out of business because nobody reads them. Okay, I think you guys will probably remember this. I had this one, right? I had this one and sold this one already. But it's cute. Yeah, I don't think the magazine's around either. They just, magazines were one of those things that, there we go, that the internet really, sorry, there's a lot of glare. There we go. The sun's actually out. They were definitely a victim of the internet, right? I'm pretty sure I had this dress also, and that I already sold it. I think this was, this is one of the Goodwill patterns, but I think Mrs. Landis had that pattern. I remember it. I also kind of vaguely remember this one too, but I don't have them anymore, so I must have sold them already. Here's this super cute Jiffy pattern, which for some reason, this one, I don't know why, it comes out the bottom, so I have to be careful when I'm holding it that it doesn't fall out. But cute, really cute peasant blouse. This is the one. The way it's cut out, it almost looks like it was a pre-cut pattern. They never actually used it, or they traced it as soon as they cut it. And this, just a lovely 80s dress. Someone had made this version. This short sleeve version. Kind of cool. Very, very 80s though. Like I kind of remember this style. All right, so that was it for this week. I know it was a short show, but I'm only going to last so long with the not coughing thing, but yeah, it's funny. I don't even know where you buy magazines anymore. You used to get them in the supermarket, right? They were always at the end caps, and they have them now, but they're different. They're not like they have the rags, right? They have the National Enquirer and stuff like that. But I remember at the end of the aisles, there used to be like Vogue and these other magazines, and they don't do that anymore. They have like special editions, like People and stuff like that, but they don't do much. So that was it for the week. I am going to start working on the craft patterns because there's so many of them. I had gone through more than 2 weeks ago now and sorted out all the patterns that were doubles, meaning I had 2 or 3 of these patterns, and I'm going to work on those first. So they're not really in any particular order. They're just a lot of really strange things. I don't remember why this was a thing. Yeah, this cough is really awful. Remember last year I was coughing. I coughed until like June. It sucked. Oh, you're welcome. I missed you guys. I miss doing this. It just, it helps break up my week. And I don't know, it's weird. It's oddly like, I don't know. It's like hanging out with people, but you're not really hanging out with people. So it sounds very strange, but it's fun. I like doing it. And anyway, so I'll be working on the craft patterns. They are very unusual. I will tell you, I remember this being a thing, but I still don't understand why. I think I found 2 or 3 of this pattern, and it's like a crow, but it's a doll that's dressed like a human who is somewhat dressed like a scarecrow. So, right, that's weird because it's a crow doll dressed as a human, dressed as a scarecrow. I think I have 2 or 3 of those. But I remember them. I remember like, well, I've told you about my one friend whose mom had the teddy bear collection, and she had the little chairs, little rattan chairs for them. But also, like, I do remember you would go to people's houses and they'd just have like a stuffed goose sitting on the countertop in the kitchen next to the phone. It had no purpose whatsoever. It did nothing. It was just cloth and stuffed, and it was usually calico, and it was just a goose because it was decor. So I'm going to be working on those patterns this week, and that's going to be fun because they're kind of funky in their own weird way. Yeah, you remember them too, Olivia? It was because they serve no purpose whatsoever. Like I could understand, like I actually have a pattern that's for a doorstop where you put the brick into the duck, right? That makes sense. It's a doorstop. You use it when you have to have the door open. But, eh, anyway, until next week, I hope none of you are sick. I'm very lucky this week. I only have 4 days because for some unknown reason, we have Friday off. I think it's President's Day. Not sure. Half the time, I don't know what the holidays are that we have off for. I mean, I know the big ones, but the little ones, sometimes I'm like, and then we also get days off for things like in services, which I think is funny because we already only work 180 days and then they do it in service and we don't work. So whatever. But so until next week, I hope wherever you are doing well. I hope that you are not sick like me. I hope your weather's good. It's been pretty mild here. We've only had a couple of really cold days. And until then, have a great week, and I will see you next Sunday. Thank you for stopping by. Bye.